guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about a new prototype that's out on the market, and it's from RS Products. Now what you're taking a look at right now is their existing AKM mount. It's a 30mm mount that allows you to attach red dot sights such as the Comp M2 Aimpoint or the M3, or even the Vortex Strike Fire, which I have mounted to the rifle right now. It attaches the red dot sight via a left-hand rail mount on the AK. Now if your rifle doesn't have a left-hand rail, obviously that precludes you from being able to use this mount. However, if you have the rail, this is probably one of the premier ways to mount a high-end 30mm red dot sight to your AK. The thing I like about this particular setup is the fact that it sets the weight of the sight over the receiver of the rifle, as opposed to mounting it over the barrel of the rifle using a handguard rail system. So it balances very nicely on the rifle for such a large red dot sight. A couple of other features that make this unique, besides the fact that you can quickly remove it and attach it and maintain zero, is the fact that it actually sets low enough you can co-witness, but you can also center the red dot sight over the bore of your rifle. It has two bolts that you can loosen. You can slide, it's in two pieces. You can slide the upper half left and right and perfectly center your red dot sight over the bore of your AK. It also has two staked holes, so if blue Loctite isn't enough and two bolts, you don't trust that, you can actually drill and stake the upper half to the lower half. And like I said, it's staked for it, or it's actually tapped for it, so it shows you exactly where to drill. And the stakes are included in the kit when you buy the red dot sight mount. So this is for 30mm red dot sights, but a lot of people have transitioned to the micro dot era. People like the T1 Micros or the Vortex SPARC. So the red dot sight, the 30mm, are kind of on the way out, and people are looking more towards the new micro dots, at least some people. And that's where this comes in. This is the new RS Products AKML mount, and as you can see, it has an Aimpoint T-1 Micro attached to it. Now the Aimpoint T-1 Micro is probably the best of the micro dots that are out there. This thing is built like a tank, and it goes nicely with a left-hand rail mount that's also built like a tank. This has all the same features as its 30mm big brother, meaning you can adjust left to right to get the sight over the bore, has the quick release mounting system, except it just mounts a smaller red dot sight. Now that's what I like about this particular mounting system. All you have to do to get it off is take this lever, rotate it, and pull. Pops right off. Put the other one on, slide it on, turn your locking lever, and this is a standard locking lever system that's used on Russian optics. It's bulletproof, and there you have it, mounted on the rifle, and it looks great. Look how good that looks on the rifle. Now again, this allows you to co-witness your iron sights through the T1 Micro. Another benefit to this particular setup is the fact that any red dot sight that shares the hole pattern of the T1 Micro, such as the Vortex SPARC or even the Primary Arms Micro Dot, they also will mount to this red dot sight system. So you have a couple of different options when it comes to price points. You can do the $500–600 T1 Micro, or you can do the $89 Primary Arms, or you can do the $200 Vortex SPARC. So it gives you some options. Anyway, this is a really neat setup. I'm looking forward to getting this out to the range and actually getting it sighted in. So let's do that now. Let's take this out to the range and do some shooting. We're out here shooting the RS Products AKML mount, and I don't know what you guys expect me to say. I love this thing. It seems to be a perfect balance for mounting a red dot sight to an AK series rifle. You don't have the problem of the weight bias being out here over the barrel if you do a railed handguard system. It balances perfectly here, and with this new AKML mount, this little T1 Micro is just so small on there. It doesn't weigh anything, doesn't change the balance of the rifle at all. Anyway, let's do a little bit more shooting with this thing and see how it performs and how it holds zero. Okay, so at about 50 yards, you saw the first 10 rounds I just fired. We're going to go ahead and fire 5 more rounds in that first 10 round group. And then I'm going to take the mount off, remount it, and fire another 5 rounds and see if the group stays within the original group. All right, we have it off. Mount it back on there. 5 more rounds. All right, so let's go take a look. All right, so we fired from just about 50 yards. We fired 5 rounds into an existing 10-shot group to make sure that we were at the 0 mark. Removed the sight, remounted the sight, fired another 5 rounds, and it would appear that it's holding 0 just fine. Let's go back and try one more thing. So everything seems to be holding 0 just fine. Let's try that one additional test. Drop it on the sight. Right on that sight again. All right. Clear off some of the mud. See how well it holds 0. All right, let's run down range, take a look. All right, so this is after dropping the rifle a couple of times on the ground and right on the sight. It looks like it's still centered, just a little bit high. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The sight landed in the mud. It's gunked up, has moisture and mud on it. And I think I was aiming just a little bit high. I'm gonna fire off a few more rounds just to confirm 0, but I think we're just fine. I was shooting high. So let's try it one more time and make sure that I'm not imagining things. We'll go ahead and hang a fresh target for this one. All right, so I've cleaned off that ocular lens. It's clean now. So I've hung that fresh target. Let's fire a few more rounds and make sure that the 0 has not changed. All right, let's run down range. All right, back out here at the 50-yard line after I cleaned off the ocular lens of the Aimpoint T-1 Micro, and it does appear that it's holding 0. My original groups were just centered and a little bit low, and that's where I'm shooting here, minus me yanking on the trigger. So it would appear that after a couple of drops from about 5 feet, I'm 6'4", I dropped it from about shoulder level, a couple of repeated drops both to the side of the rifle and directly on the optic, dropping straight down, the sight mount does, in fact, hold 0. Okay guys, some final thoughts on the AKML mount, which is a prototype from RS Products. It's not available on the market currently. Now you might be able to get some pricing information, an idea of what this mount might sell for if you go to the RS Products website, which I'll put a hot link in the description below, and take a look at the price for their 30mm mount. It'll probably be in that ballpark, but I can't give you pricing information at this time. Again, it is a prototype. There's several features of this sight mount that I really like. First of all, you retain the ability to field strip the rifle without removing the mount. All right, so you don't have to actually remove the mount to field strip your rifle. You can do it very simply by leaving the mount in place. But even if you had to, it doesn't take much to flip this lever and remove the sight from the rifle. But you don't have to do that. Also, I like the modularity that it affords the AK rifle. You can actually remove this mount and throw on a magnified optic, for example. And we'll talk about this mount in a future video. So I can just quickly swap out optics without a hassle. It's very easy to do. And as I've demonstrated, you actually maintain the rifle's 0 or the sight's 0 when you do swap out sights. So I think this is probably the ideal red dot sight mount for the AK because it doesn't require tools or modifying the rifle in any way by putting a rail system on it. It drops right onto the existing rail if you have one. Now, if you have a left-hand side folder, like a Russian AK-74M side folder that folds to the left, that's about the only ding I can come up with for this particular sight mount, is the fact that you can't fold and lock your stock. And the same is true with the triangle folders. So if you have a side folder, it might not be ideal. You can quickly pop it off, but that's not necessarily an ideal situation. but given how small and handy the sight is, I still think it's one of my favorite mounting options out there. If you guys have any questions about this sight mount, feel free to swing by our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/military arms. Also swing by our online discussion forums. You can find us there at www.militaryarmschannel.com. As always, everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.